right? So what do we look at then as an infantry platoon? At the top of this sort of the leadership ladder is you've got the platoon commander and an officer. So if you're somebody who's watching this and you're wanting to join the army as a British Army officer, and then you're thinking you want to go infantry, this is where you're going to end up first. So it doesn't really matter what role you're going into, whether it be the paras, airborne, armoured, light mech, light role, light recce strike, whatever the specific role is within the infantry. 9 times out, this is what you're going to look like. You're going to go join the infantry platoon first to build up your experience before you start moving on throughout your battalion, whatever it may look like. So there you go. And to get that there are various ages, whatever age you're going to join in, to join at Sandhurst, do all your business at Sandhurst, do your commissioning course, and then you're head off to Brecon, IBS Brecon, so Infantry Battle School Brecon, to do your course there, to train you in all the sort of tactical elements of the infantry officer. And then there you go, off to your battalion, you're now infantry officer. Here you go. Sitting to your side then you've got a platoon sergeant. They are varying in sort of experience as in what they've been in the army as in years, roughly 10 to 12 years and around that sort of thing. They will have been on operations before. Kinetic operations look slightly different now because what we're at to now depends on how long they've been in the army, that kind of stuff. But they will have experience of being in your unit and how things work. So they're there for advice, but they're also there for the administration part, so the admin of the platoon. And we're not talking just, well, in fact, we are now, we've changed to 2024. There's a lot of this kind of stuff in computers. But I do mean a lot of like the ammunition, your water, dealing with casualties, getting everything, all the resources together for the plan the platoon commander makes with the corporals, which we'll go on to in a minute. For all that plan to happen, they deal with the sort of resource part of that. So platoon sergeant, yep, that's there. Okay, next then you have 3 teams. So 3 sticks, let's imagine, within that platoon. And they're led by 3 ferocious corporals. So these are section commanders. That's their sort of job title, and they've been in the army various different sort of stages as well, but you're normally talking roughly, I want to say 6 to 8 years. We'll give it that. That's how long they've been in the army for, so that's their experience there. 9 times out of 10, young, fighting fit, thrusting, want to get amongst it all the time. They're like the hounds, that's how it's always described. The platoon commander has them on the chain and just releases them into battle. That's the section commander. Under them then you've got 3 more lance corporals. So 3 of these teams headed by a corporal. Under them, 3 lance corporals. They vary in experience as well, and within sort of age group and all that kind of stuff within the army. You're talking, you can go to battalion if you're squared away. So if you're watching us now and you're squared away, you're positive, you keep fit, you love you just want to do everything you can to make everything as good as possible and how you present yourself in your battalion, you could potentially hit lance corporal within like 2 to 3 years minimum. Potentially could do it slightly less. It all depends on sort of what PIDs if PIDs are available in your battalion and actually how good you are. But that's a sort of experience there. And then what you're doing then is that lance corporal then is doing the same as what the sergeant is doing for the whole platoon. They're doing that for the section. So all the resources, gathering all what quantities and stuff they need of it, and then going to the platoon sergeant with them quantities, all that kind of stuff. So what you will see when the platoon works in an operational environment is the lance corporals will tend to work slightly more to the platoon sergeant, and then the corporals will work more to the platoon commander, the planning. So they all get together and do the plan, and then they initiate and reenact the platoon commander's plan. That is your big family as a platoon. So, and like I said, there's loads of different roles within the infantry, as in specific roles like airborne, armoured, all the rest of it. But when you strip all them kind of roles back to the bare bones, the infantry soldier is the infantry soldier. On operations, they will all do pretty much the same sort of stuff. They do the same sort of courses and all that kind of stuff. The only difference is it's a parachute regiment, obviously have P company. But regards to everything else, whenever you're going to promote, especially the soldier route, unfortunately you're going to have to go to Brecon a couple of times. You will go to get your section commander qualification, and then off to do your seniors qualification to promote you to sergeant. Officers, you're only going to go there once, and that's straight after you commission in Sandhurst. But that's the business there as that infantry platoon. And you've seen that in past operations where when you strip it all back, because like you had, I want to say Yorks were Kabul, Afghanistan, and up Toro around 2020-ish time with 2 para and stuff. You know what I mean? So when it comes to the certain operation, we can do the same sort of thing. Whenever we go out to all-out warfare, which, you could argue hasn't necessarily happened since like the era of 1939, but She's got to be on the sort of watching the news and being on the internet nowadays to see that it's yeah, things are looking a bit tasty right now. So what you potentially are going to be seeing, could well see, is whatever role you're in, whether you're airborne, armor, whatever it may be, you would then stick to that role, and then that is your role, and you'll be used for that role in the battlefield. Yeah. So we're completely away from that sort of counterinsurgency sort of mindset and all that kind of stuff, and we're now sort of flicking to, we're in a pre-war era, sorry, and that's what we're looking to. So that is your sort of little family bubble. Necessarily when you very first join up, you will then stay within that bubble, but you're not going to stay that throughout your whole career. Right, so that's the breakdown, what it's going to look like visually, and what the sort of amount of people is going to be within your platoon, right? So let's talk about your actual role and job. When I say about the infantry platoon, you're probably going to be very, very busy when it comes to operations. And you know, right now, as I'm sitting here now, it is flat out with actual operations going on. Some you do know, some you don't know about, and all you have to do is just look at the current sort of state of affairs. And that's what one I do say to a lot of people is, when you come to join the army, you gotta take an interest in current affairs, because it is going to be your job. If anything goes boogaloo across the world, it's probably going to be you that's going to be going to answer the call. So I would say you need to get, if you not interested in the news or whatever it may in current affairs, get interested in it, because you're going to be involved in it. And that doesn't need you to be looking at one specific mainstream news channel. You look at them all and get both sides of the picture, so you have a really good understanding. And then if you are a soldier and you're sort of junior within your platoon and stuff, ask the platoon commander about current affairs and all that kind of stuff, and just really get an idea of what's going on, and because it just gives you a bit more purpose for what you're training for. And the big thing you're going to be doing in the infantry, as the whole army, but for you guys going into the platoons and stuff, you need to be fit. 100%. I harp on about so much on this channel, like you need to be physically fit. And it's not just being a certain aspect of fitness, it's all round. You need to have a little bit of endurance, you need to have some strength, because you need to be able to lift and leg the people, left and right of you. You could potentially be in these urban environments with just like, you look at over in Israel and stuff, that's where you've got to look at in Raqqa and all them kind of places, or even look at in Syria, the destruction whenever you're operating in an urban area. If you're like built like that, wet through, and you're having to move doorways and all that kind of stuff, or open doors off vehicles and all that kind of stuff to get people out of there, you need to have a little bit of strength on you. Yeah, you need to have endurance, because in training, as in basic training, and in training when you arrive at your unit, you do have that sort of like breakfast, lunch, dinner, and you have sort of risks assessment stuff in place to ensure safe training. But when you go away on operations, quite a lot of that goes out of the window, because war is war. It is what it is. So you need to really have that endurance, where if you're still need to move 8 miles to get to an objective area, and it's like over the time where normal lunch would be, and you might not get a meal. Do you know what I mean? So by you being that physically working on your physical fitness and your endurance and your strength and all the rest of it, it just gives you a little bit more tools to be able to cope with that, and so you then don't become a sort of burden on the rest of your platoon. We're all out for each other, and definitely if anyone becomes a casualty, you've got all them buddies left and right of you, up and down, who have got the training to treat you and stuff. What you want to be doing your thing for the team and making sure you're not becoming a burden because of physical fitness and all that kind of stuff. So 100% physical fitness. And then just your actual role. So whatever role you're assigned to in your platoon, whether it be a rifleman, sharpshooter, GPMG gunner, so that's a little bit big of a machine gun, UGL, underslung grenade launcher, all that kind of stuff. Take the time to, I'm not saying be an absolute palm head when we say palm head, just like reading books all the time, but know your knowledge. Don't just sort of pay lip service to it whenever you're doing like a round robin lessons day with a few NCOs and just tick the box that you've been there. Actually now take the opportunity in this safe environment to learn that kind of stuff and be all over it, because once you're in the thick of it on operations or warfare, the last thing you want all this kind of stuff to be second nature to you. We've operated such a different way over the past 20 years, and I'm coming from, I was born in the heritage ages. Like I joined in 2006, and all my operational tours and stuff were all counterinsurgency, all that kind of stuff. Looking to the future, that's not there. We're talking a whole different ball game here, where you, the next generation, are going to be the ones who are going to be getting amongst it at that sort of stage. So you've got to take the time now to really take in all your training and get amongst it. But 100%, I've like loved the infantry. I loved being an infantry platoon, and I loved my time there. And I suppose I'm making this video now is because I'm coming to the stage now within my career where it's now finally time to move away from that platoon. I've now just been promoted to colour sergeant, and I'm going down to Sandhurst as an instructor, so I will never be back into that platoon again. So I've been a ranger in a platoon on operations, I've been a lance corporal in a platoon on operations, and I've been a corporal in a platoon, not on operations for that period, but I did go to Catterick and was an instructor there. So anyone who's coming to be a soldier, I was there phase 1 and 2 instructor, and then came back, and then it was platoon sergeant, and then went in operations to Kabul, Afghanistan in 2019, and then bounced around there as a sergeant, been in and around a company for that rank, and now colour sergeant. I'm now posting out, but I will never go back now to a platoon, because the highest rank you can be in a platoon soldier wise is a sergeant, and then obviously platoon commander. So yes, that is probably, I've just actually come to realise this now, I was recording this video, that is me now finally at like 18 years in. I'll never be in a platoon again, like, but genuinely it has probably been the best time ever. So if you are considering it, definitely get amongst it, and you will obviously always bump into naysayers no matter where you are in life, but you just got to shut that noise out and just do it is what you want to do. And genuinely it's probably one of the best experiences I've ever had. So in a way of summary then, without taking too much of your time, is the infantry platoon is definitely 100% a really good shout for someone who's wanting to get amongst the army. There is a lot of other stuff there in regards to education and making sure you're better prepared for civilian street, because I know a lot of people like to jump in there and say that infantry gives you absolutely bugger all for whenever you get out. I do have a lot of stuff there for you and advice to what to do if you are going to do that, to make sure that you're definitely qualified for when you jump out into civvy street, because not necessarily everyone wants to do a full career in the army, and I 100% get that. It's not for everyone, but there is a lot of stuff now, we're in 2024, that helps you to make sure that you're better prepared for whenever you leave. Some stuff is official there to help you, and some stuff is official from me being in for the amount of time I've been in and watching people get out and X, Y, Z, and things I can tell you now that will help you. That's a totally different video. If you want to get amongst that, please drop it in the comment section below. And if not, thanks very much for watching. If you want to see all things military content related, like and subscribe for further updates, and I will see you again on the next video. See you then.